Welcome to the High Ticket Success Podcast, where premium coaches, consultants, and advisors come for bold strategies, big breakthroughs, and real results. I'm your host, Dave Dubeau. Hey, gang, if you've got a high ticket product or service that you're trying to sell, there are all sorts of different ways to do it. And today, our special guest, zooming in from beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, probably a little on the toasty side of this as we're recording this at the end of August, we've got an expert on helping you land high ticket clients using books, using virtual summits, using all sorts of clever things. Ray Brehm, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks, Dave. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, hey, first things first, let's just zoom out. Give us a big picture of what you do, who you are, who you serve. Kind of just give us the Ray Brehm story in brief.
Sure. So you know what? I'm a real estate guy too. We can get to talk about that some other time because I know, I can go on and on about that. I'm a recovering real estate property manager. I had a property management business here in Arizona, but I had working while I was getting rid of that business, moving into the online business, and it's, it was somewhat of a tough journey, in the beginning, like I think everybody experiences. And but right now I've evolved. I kind of, I've moved my way back and forth, trying to figure out what's my fit in this world. And really where it's ended up is I'm kind of the back end of the book guy for authors, how to actually make money beyond royalties, because a lot of authors get in the business of, I'm going to have passive income, independently wealthy, and
I'm going to have the next Harry Potter.
Right. And really, I would say I'm more of a nonfiction guy, although I love Harry Potter, and is royalties just aren't going to do it.
No.
Right. And we all find that out the hard way. I can almost guarantee every author's like, yeah, but for me, it's going to be different royalties. And it's not, except 1% of the time.
Luckily, I got taught that early days, Ray. Like I've got 9 or 10 books that I've done. I think maybe I have made $10 in royalties off of all of those books from selling them through Amazon and whatnot. Because my philosophy around a book is a sales letter on steroids. It's a business card on steroids kind of thing. That's kind of my philosophy around a book.
Yep.
So anyhow, sorry for interrupting you there, but
no,
100%.
I mean, that's exactly it. I think at some point everybody gets there and realizes this isn't going to work. And a lot of times, unfortunately, what happens is like, well, it must be me. I don't write good enough, or I don't know enough.
Nobody likes my stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, no, I don't even know the number, 15, 20 million books in Amazon. There's so many, hundreds of thousands being added.
God help us. Yeah. God help us now with AI.
Right. And now they can just basically generate books in minutes.
Yeah.
And just cloud the picture. And so I got got here the hard way. It was just like, nope, I'm going to figure this out. And I'm beating my head against the wall. And to the point where I sold that property management business. I had a boat, over 6 figures in cash, and I blew that in a year and a half with expensive coaching, expensive ad agencies, and Facebook ads, still not knowing what my real thing was. And I hit the wall early 2020. All of a sudden, March,
not a good
right?
time.
No, I mean, this is all. Yeah, it's like March 1st. I had sold my business a year and a half earlier, ran out of cash in February.
And now
a lot of dominoes happening. March happens, COVID hits, all this stuff. I got lucky, got out of my virtual office and all this stuff. But I was, running a business. The one thing that saved me from all this was I had happened to be starting to run a virtual summit, my first virtual summit. And, for me, I'm like, this is going to be the same thing as books. It's going to give me a lot of authority and all the cool kids are doing it, but I need to make money. I mean, this is crazy. I can't live like this. But I saved face, and there was interviews, some really good people I got for that, and I had to get out of this depressed funk, smile on the camera, be energetic, run the interviews, and then go back to being like, what am I going to do? I mean, I was first time in like 20 years, I was looking at how to write a resume and all this.
Wow,
And then
depressing.
the summit ran, and we started the summit. We started promoting it a week ahead of time. And the all of a sudden I started getting these emails. It's like, you made a sale. You made a sale.
What were you selling on the summit?
Just a premium pass. So,
Yeah, just like
lifetime
the
access to
recordings,
the videos.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For like
60,
how much? For
$67,
yeah,
97 if you didn't buy it right away when you
yeah,
registered.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, the first day we made like $1,500, and I'm like, oh my God, I can pay March's mortgage. What is it? So I'd walk into I didn't know what's going on. I didn't expect there was any money. How much money can you make selling something at $67?
Yeah, yeah.
And I started walking in the kitchen, and my wife would see me smirking. She's like, "You made another sale?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't figure this out." Well, by the end of the 2 week period, so there's the pre-launch week and then the summit week, we had brought in $12,126 in revenue, which may or may not sound like much to the audience,
Sounds like a lot to
but
me
when you
if you're,
can't pay the mortgage, it
yeah.
was like I'd won the lottery. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
And so I said that Monday morning after the summit ended, I said, I was getting a lot of emails that said, "Hey, this is great. Thanks for doing this, Ray. Thanks." And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I just asked some questions. But I said, you know what? I kind of think that I got a little higher authority than I did a couple of weeks ago.
Hmm.
I should probably sell something. So I had just run we do this thing called a co-author project where people pay $1,000. At the time it was $1,000 to write a chapter in our book. We guarantee it go to bestseller. Well, I
Right.
just run it in February, trying to raise some cash just to pay the groceries, right? And I'd sold 3 chapters, so $3,000. Like, oh, we'll take it. Uh, I ran this. I just took the same emails. I'm like, I don't even. This is my highest price thing, so I feel like it should be my product, my highest price product. That at the time, that was the highest thing I had, and I just ran the same emails for 5 days that I had run in February. And I'm like, these people already saw this. They're not going to do any. I mean, they didn't do anything last time. We sold 19 of them that week
Wow.
just via email. $1,000 product, just some emails to a sales page. And I'm like, what in the heck's going on here? And the same thing, I'm going walk in the kitchen. I'm like, and we had been miserable and depressed. At least I had, and my wife had seen it. And now I'm walking in this just smiling like a little kid
Yeah.
that, stole some cookies. I'm like, what the? So he did. Now this is third week. So 2 weeks of summit. I run this other thing, 19,000. We're at 31,126. And I'm like, I think I just found a way for authors to make money and build authority.
Nice.
So then I had one of the guest speakers. He had run his first summit. He had me on his summit. He says, "Hey, you did a really good job on that summit. Could you run mine? I want to run mine again." So we ran his 60 days later, same exact summit, put it on my platform, did the stuff, and he doubled his amount of emails, doubled his sales. Same exact summit. He's like, you know what? We ought to start a done for you summit business. I'm like, okay, I'll raise my hand for anything because I'm just thankful we got the money to pay the bills.
Yeah.
We start this business, and then so I went back a year later. We started our business. We sold 100K in 100 days of this done for you summits, and we were helping people make money. And I went back and said, a year later, I said, okay, I'm going to add up every bit of business I did with all the different, because a lot of speakers, we started cross promoting each other. We had built relationships, just
Yeah.
like you and I are
Affiliate
doing on
relationships,
interview.
JV
Just you
things.
get
Yeah.
on these interviews and it's like putting a face to a name. And I went back and it was like $256,000 was generated over the year from that very first summit. And,
Amazing.
obviously there's 31,000 there. We did
Yeah.
150 plus with this done for you summit thing, but also I was promoting other people's products. They started promoting mine. And so I looked at all the revenue generated. I'm like, and I had to go through PayPal line by line, figure this all out. But I really wanted to know. And I'm like, this is way better than I even imagined. And so I started telling, I told my wife, I said, if we just had, and I was wishful thinking, but I like, if we just had 4 summits a year, we wouldn't ever go through this.
Absolutely.
How are we going to pay the mortgage? Right. I
Mhm.
mean, it wouldn't be maybe, it's not going to be some $1 trillion company or anything, but it would be a business. Fast forward to now, and most of my summits I co-host, so it's even better because I got like another person helping recruit people, and we run 5 or 6 a year in the author space. That's all I do, and I build an email list. I don't run any ads. I only sell to my email list. I will sell them. I will send them to other people's offers, or to my own, and it's so as I built this whole thing, it's like, oh my gosh, you just need to build your own audience with the list and make partnerships and repeat.
Cool.
And,
So, do you mind if I stop
oh
you there
yeah,
for a
let's
second, man?
yes,
So you've dropped a lot of nuggets of awesomeness there. I want us to, can we zoom out here for a second and
sure
let's
can.
plug in an imaginary coach or consultant and how this could work for them outside of the book author space. So, which I'm sure you do, you help people with outside of just authors. I'm thinking.
One thing I realized is anybody. There's three things I think, and anybody in any space can compete with anyone in their niche, right? And it's three things. You can work harder than anybody else. You can provide better support than anybody else. And if you build your own audience, you can sell to that audience better than anyone else. And so from the macro perspective is I think 90% of what's being taught is wrong
Hmm.
because I can I know I've had clients, I've even suggested they copy some of my programs and
Yeah.
sell them for themselves to try to help them sell. And the problem is no one can no one can do it to their audience, to my audience, better than I can.
Right. So that's what I want to kind of zoom out on. So let's
Okay.
imagine that I'm a health coach for chubby 55 plus year old guys, whatever, which I'm not. I am the chubby 55 plus year old guy. But let's say that was my niche. I'm a coach in that niche. I work with clients typically one on one. I've got a $5,000 initial coaching package that accomplishes whatever. So I've got a defined avatar. I've got a product, a service that a coaching package that has some traction, it works. I want to grow my coaching business following your model. What might that look like? Can we plug that, something like that into there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, I'm actually writing a book about this, writing the entire model at the moment. But to me, most people, if you look at where everybody struggles, they got this great thing, they've got the great coaching program, they got this great course, they got whatever they've got. They're like, now who do I sell it to?
Hmm.
And then it's like, I mean, and by the way, those people come to you if you've got an email list. They come to you and say, "Hey, could you promote my thing?" So you're never lacking an opportunity when you start building that. But I look at it like if you look at a daily newspaper, right? That the people build credibility just by just being there daily.
Hmm.
And so, and this is a hard jump for some people, but you can start with weekly or whatever. Is if you start an email list, there's all of this is about the long game, right? And building an email list is essentially building your audience. And I
So
send
let's say I'm that coach. I've got 150 people on my email list at this particular time.
Mhm.
Where do I go from there?
Yep. So one thing is you're always list building, and two, you're always communicating with your audience, right? So you're always
Okay.
adding people, I would call it, to your circulation, right? If you're like a newspaper thought process, and that those emails, here's the difference too. I've sent emails like, look at this funny story that happened to me today. And
So are you doing daily communications
yeah,
to this? Yeah.
I call
Okay.
it near daily because
Okay. Almost
for
daily. Yeah.
whatever reason, some days I'm just like, I can't do it. Right. I only do that because we've built up a sustainable business that way. But my emails are like entertainment, educate, elevate.
Yeah.
They're not. I see this. I mean, I've got people that I see like I'm the email expert. Buy my thing, and it's like, no, I'm just I'm giving information. Mostly I like the entertaining side. So it's like, look
Yep.
at this funny thing, and here's what I told the person, about. And um, so when I get a reply that's like, that was hilarious, or thanks, that was good information, or that was motivating, that's a currency to me because I know long term I'm building that relationship.
Okay.
And now I've done just last month I decided I had 65 courses that have been sitting on the shelf that are very valuable. I'm like, I'm just going to put these in a Netflix like thing and just send some emails out and see who wants to join it. And in 3 days, I had $500 reoccurring income. I sold it at $10 a month. And I said, because I need an entry level thing, but
Mm-hmm.
people will come in. Um, that's not exactly high ticket, right? But if you got the other side of it, in fact, I think people should start with the high ticket. But
Yeah.
so
So let's
from,
focus on the coach guy. So
yep,
I'm the
yep,
coach guy. I've got the 150 people on my list. I've had some clients. I've had some success. I want to kick things up. So I start emailing more regularly because I've been pretty sporadic. So now I'm drinking the Ray Brehm Kool-Aid and I'm emailing. What's the next step?
I mean, really, it's how do I build this above 150? I'm not counting any of those 150 out. Some people will be on your list for 4 years, and then I had one person on my list 4 years, then spent 7 grand with me,
Yeah.
a package, right? So those people super valuable. How do I get more? How do I reach out to more? And you could use social media for that, but I'm telling you, best thing I ever did was host that summit because you get when you host a summit, all the other speakers you interview, they're sending their best
They're
people
promoting it.
to join your
Exactly.
list.
So
And so
let's say, so
I'll
let's
get like
say,
2,500 to 3,000 per summit new
nice.
emails.
Okay. So I do a summit with roughly how many people? What do you recommend?
20 to 25.
20 to 25 people.
You
And
could
then
do it with less or
hopefully,
more, but yeah.
hopefully most of them promote this and that's going to create an email because it's a free summit, right?
Yep.
That's going to create a list of 25. So now I'm going from 150 people on my list to over 2,500 people on my list by doing that summit. You mentioned some smart things about monetizing. Obviously, we can't get into the details here.
Yep.
They have to get more in there,
Right.
but just to give people the big picture. Okay, so I put the summit on, I monetize it a bit that way, or you did very, very well. So maybe quite a bit. How do I turn that into high ticket clients on the other end?
Yep. So the model basically is you host a summit that provides some of those 19 people that paid $1,000. They had already seen the other emails, but now they're like, wow, Ray's a little more legit than I thought because he interviewed all these people. So you're building a more authority. You're creating, if you don't have a lower mid ticket product, you're creating a product. The summit itself is a product you can sell.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to make sales that way. You're going to connect with partners. You're building your email list. So all these things, even if you're starting out and you don't have a product, you have an instant product by creating the summit. So there's
Mm-hmm.
that, right? But the model then is these people that that whole selling the $1,000 thing the week after the whole summit is about that week after. You plan the whole summit about your product. So let's say your health coach is uh, wants to sell a $5,000 coaching program. First thing I'm doing is locking in the Thursday after. That's my webinar. That's when I'm going to give a free training about
My
weight
specialty.
loss at after 50 or whatever it is. Then I go and say, okay, we know that's the core offer I want to make. Let's go back and figure out who the audience for that is, right? And now the first thing people think I'm going to just interview a bunch of competitors. If you're in that group, you could interview somebody. It's like, hey, it could be the Life After 50 Summit. Now, your little
Yeah.
piece is the health and weight loss, but you could interview somebody that talks about dating after 50, somebody that talks about
Finances, somebody,
working or
yeah.
finance or retirement or all these things, right? And you're hopefully picking those people to speak that have those types of audiences. So guess what? The people come for this Life After 50 Summit. they see some things they like. That's going to help those speakers. But everybody that attends, hey, they get a free ticket to your training on how to lose weight after 50. And of course, the benefits of that can be all those other things too. So
Right.
you're
Yeah.
going to feel better. You're going to date better. You're going to, have a better marriage, whatever it is. And now these people, like, they just got done seeing you. This is like kind of the
Interviewing
Oprah,
all the,
the
you're kind
Oprah
of, yeah.
effect. Like, she's not
Yeah.
the expert on all this stuff, but she sure seems like it because she interviewed all these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with you. It's, I mean, I was stunned by it when the result, and it happens every time because now they've just seen your face with every single person and they associate you with expertise,
Yeah.
and you don't have to have it. You could do a summit on whatever topic because you're just asking the questions.
You're borrowing that expertise from your
And
speakers. Okay, so then you put on a webinar on the Thursday after your
yeah,
summit, and you promote your thing. And if you're doing the $5,000 coaching thing, it might be direct to buy now. Probably it's going to be, hey, book a call. Let's see if we're a good fit. And you fill up your calendar with sales calls from that or something along those lines.
I mean, we do this with one of my best partners. He runs his own summit. We run it for him. He runs it twice a year. Then he and I we co-host a summit together. We co-host two. So there's like, he runs basically 4 a year, and he does exactly what you're talking about. He has a done for you publishing bestseller program. It's like $5,000. He offers it for 4 just the week after the summit. He runs the webinar. He teaches people how to market their book. But if they want help, they do it. And they got like 3 or 4 days to book a call. He tells them what the price is right on the webinar. It's like, only book a call if you're really interested and need help, and has a killer business.
Nice. That's
And so
beautiful.
it fits exactly what you're talking about from that perspective. But here's the beauty of it. So people don't buy, you're only going to convert so many on that webinar, right? And you're going to only have so many call spots or whatever. That doesn't mean they're gone.
Right.
You're
they're still
emailing the week after. It's like,
emailing you.
hey, here's something else I learned. It's me being the leader in my field, sending you a message every day or every week. And by the way, he does once a week. I do near daily. He seemed, the same effect. Very, and you can measure this. I can measure it as the host of a summit. I can see who produces, right? We run leaderboards and all the speakers and who sent the most people that bought the premium pass, all this stuff. Well, now you know exactly who, if I see somebody online, I have no idea how big their list is. They seem pretty important and successful and all that. Get them to do an interview on your summit, and you'll see who's skinny dipping when the tide goes out.
Ray, this is awesome stuff. There's going to be people wanting to get more Ray Brehm. Where should they go? How can they connect with you?
Yeah. So, I mean, you can get out. I mean, I would say if you're trying to learn what I'm talking about, get on people's lists that are, in your industry, but also get on my list if you like, check it out. You can always unsubscribe. Just go to ray.fm. It also shows a lot of the programs and I've got software and things. So, but everything I do revolves around this whole business model that is get your own audience, build it with an email list. That's like having your own social media is your email that you control access. Nobody can take it away from you. And then rinse and repeat and just put your nose to the grindstone and great things will happen.
Awesome, Ray. Thanks so much for sharing your wisdom. This has been great.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, everybody, take care. We will see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the High Ticket Success Podcast. Want to be featured? Share your story and inspire other premium coaches, consultants, and advisors? Apply now at highticketsuccesspodcast.com/guest.